Hey, how you doing? Justin here. If you always wanted to play music for your kids, but you weren't sure where to start or what to do, well, you come to the right place. The ukulele is the perfect instrument, and in this lesson I'm going to show you all of the stuff you need to know. I really appreciate your support in hitting the subscribe button if you're over on YouTube, and follow the link in the description over to the website where you're going to find loads of children's songs with all of the chords and stuff that you need to play music for your kids right away. It is loads of fun. I'm assuming you've got a ukulele already, but if you haven't, there's a buyer's guide over on the website, and it doesn't matter if you've got a soprano ukulele or a concert like this size or a baritone, which is a bit bigger. They all use the same chord shape, so you can follow along with this lesson. Let's start off by talking a bit about how to hold the ukulele. You've got a few different options. Probably the easiest one to get going with is to rest the ukulele on your leg. If you're right-handed, you'll be resting it on your right leg. Your fretting hand, your left hand in this case, will be supporting the neck a little bit, which makes some more advanced techniques a little bit more complicated, but I wouldn't worry about it at this stage. Another option is to hold the ukulele with your forearm, your right arm forearm. Again, you're going to have to use a little bit of support there with the left hand, but you're holding the kind of the weight of the ukulele here with your forearm. I always found that a little bit more difficult, and it's only in the last few years that I've started to feel a bit more comfortable with that. If you want to stand up, that's the option there, or you need to use a strap. Now, using a strap is totally fine. You'd normally attach it around the neck here, and you'd need some sort of attachment for the strap on the ukulele body as well. Relatively easy to fit if you don't have one, but my recommendation would be, if you're completely new, to start off with the resting it on the leg thing. If you feel like that's too low, or you feel a bit more ambitious, then you could try holding it there with your arm against your body. Getting your ukulele in tune is super important. If you don't get your ukulele in tune, nothing you play is going to sound any good. Now, I would recommend that you get a clip-on tuner. There are many available, many different prices. They literally just clip onto the headstock there. You turn them on, and when you play a note, it shows you whether you need to tune the pegs up or down for each string. The tuning is G for the string nearest to your face, nearest to the ceiling. C is the next note. You can hear it goes down quite a lot. E is the second string, and the string nearest to the ground is the note A. For any of you that play guitar as well, you might know that that would be the same as the thinnest 4 strings of the guitar if you had a capo at the 5th fret. If your uke's not in tune and you don't have a tuner, then head over to the website, and there's a whole lesson on different approaches to tuning your ukulele, including My Dog Has Fleas, which is definitely the coolest way to tune your ukulele. So here's the first chord we're going to learn. This is a C chord, and all you need is your 3rd finger in the 3rd fret of the thinnest string. You can see here I'm kind of holding the ukulele a bit here and using my thumb to just pick the notes out one at a time. You could strum it with your thumb as well. We're going to talk a bit more about strumming when we've looked at the chords, but that's your first chord that you need, and that's a C chord. The second chord we're going to look at is a G chord, but don't fret if you find this a little hard, because I've got a great cheat for this one as well. Show you the traditional one first of all. This is the G chord, 1st finger, 2nd fret of string 3. That's the 3rd up from the bottom. 2nd finger, 2nd fret on string 1, and 3rd finger goes down the 3rd fret of string 2. Now, most people will find that a little bit awkward, particularly the 3rd finger might lay down a little bit and mute that thinnest string. But here's your cheat, and it's really cool. This chord is called a G7. Now, it looks kind of similar, right? 1st finger is going down in the 1st fret of string 2. 2nd finger is going down on the 2nd fret of string 3. And 3rd finger goes down on the 2nd fret of string 1. This is a G7. Now look at C chord. To get to G7, 3rd finger just slides back 1 fret, then you put down the 1st finger, and then you put down the 2nd finger. And check. Now there are quite a few children's songs that just use these 2 chords. C and G7. If you want some songs to practice, again, head over to the website. On the children's songs page, it'll show you which ones just use those 2 chords. Really nice and simple. You want to practice changing between them a little bit. Just slide it back, 1st finger, 2nd finger, play. Take them off, 3rd finger back up, play. C and G7. Now we move on to the 3rd chord that we're going to learn. We leave 1st finger down, lift off 2nd and 3rd fingers, and then put 2nd finger down on the 2nd fret of the string 4, the top string. Okay, this is an F chord. But there's a cheat for this one as well, which I absolutely love, which is lifting off the second finger. So you've just got your first finger down, first fret of the second string. Now officially this is called an F add 9 chord, but really you don't have to worry about the fancy name for it. It's just an easy version of the F that you can use almost any time that it shows that you can play a regular F chord. So we've got C, G7, an F, and the last chord that we really need for most children's songs is going to be an A minor chord, which is the second finger, second fret of string 4. But there's a great cheat for this one as well, which is lifting off the second finger and playing all of them, and that is an A minor 7. So we've got C, G7, F, and A minor 7. Now, of course, there are more chords than that, and you're going to encounter some. Some of them are really easy. C7 again, super easy. First finger, first fret of string 1. There's lots of the chords that are really easy and some pretty complicated chords as well. For most beginner songs, though, you're going to get away with just the C, G, F, and A minor chords. The next thing we need to talk about is rhythm and strumming. Now there's lots of different techniques here and lots of different approaches. I'm going to give you a couple of real simple ones, but the one thing to remember is that rhythm is really important. You're probably going to find one of the first hurdles that you encounter is changing the chords fast enough to play the song. So that's something you want to work on, is just practicing your chord changes, just going over one chord change. Because ideally when you're strumming, you want to try and keep the rhythm super consistent while you change chords. So you go from a C chord to a G7, back to C. You can hear there's not a gap there. What you don't want, and what's almost going to certainly happen when you start, is this. It's kind of inevitable. You're going to have to accept that that's going to happen a little bit, but you want to try and remove that as soon as you can and really work. Even if the chord gets a bit fluffy, you want to try and keep that rhythm consistent. Now, as far as techniques go, there isn't really a right or wrong way. There's lots of different approaches to this, and especially if you're having fun playing music with your kids, it doesn't really matter. The first thing you want to get used to, though, is just strumming with your thumb, all down strums, and just getting used to that being a count of 4 usually. 1, 2, 3, 4. So Incy Wincy Spider climbed up the water spout. Down came the rain and washed poor Incy out. Out came the sunshine and dried up all the rain. And Incy Wincy Spider went up the spout again. Now, I just played that for you so you can get the idea of the consistent rhythm, even though the chords are changing. Now, that one's using C and G7 and F. There are easier ones to start off with that just use G7 and C. Would recommend that you probably start on one of those. But I just wanted you to see there the consistency of the strumming. It's really, really important. Just doing a down strum with your thumb on the beat, it would be called. So you 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That would definitely be the place that I would recommend that you start off with. Another really good option is to use your first finger instead of your thumb. So you're just using your first fingernail going down like that. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Once you feel confident doing all down strums, be it with your thumb or your first finger, you might want to introduce some up strums. Now, when we're counting up strums, we call them ands. So the down strums will be the numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4, and in between each one we would have an and. So using the first finger just there on the C chord, we'd have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and that's a fantastic pattern to get used to doing. If you want to get another step fancier, if you're like, oh man, I'm cool with all of this, I can go a little bit harder, you want to try and accent, play a little bit harder on beats 2 and 4. And then you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a great one because it feels like it's got a little bit more dance in it. If your kids are getting active and they want to dance around while they sing, learning to have this. That accent on 2 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4. If I take it away, it doesn't have the same kind of feeling, does it? So that would be the kind of the next step up. Any more advanced stuff than that? There's plenty of lessons again over on the website, so you might want to go and check that out as well. There are, of course, many different approaches. You can do fingerstyle, you can add percussive hits, you can do all sorts of fancy strumming things if you want. But generally for playing with kids, you want to keep it simple, keep the rhythm solid, because that's really the key thing that you're looking for. I think the best way to learn to play ukulele is by playing songs. You've got enough of the basics down now in this lesson. I would recommend that you head over to the website and check out the children's songs for beginners. Have a look at the most simple ones first of all with just 2 chords or 3 chords, and then just have a go at playing them. You're going to have to work a little bit on the chord changes. You're going to have to work a bit on the strumming. You'll probably find it a little bit lumpy, but it won't take any time at all. I promise. It's far easier than you might think. Most of it is about getting the chord changes and the consistent rhythm. If you've got those 2 things going on, you've got a load of different songs. If you're getting into the ukulele and enjoying my lessons, you might want to check out my book, Children's Songs for Mums and Dads, the Ukulele Edition. 101 songs, mostly arranged using just these easy chords. There's a few other chords in there, but we tried to keep the chords as simple as we could, and it's got all of the children's hits that you're probably ever going to want to play. A couple of last hints before I leave you to go and learn some songs. The first one is learn to vamp. Now, a vamp is where you stay on the one chord for a little while. So, you're going to do the C. Whatever the strumming pattern is, or the rhythm, or the tempo, you just sit on the one chord. It's a perfect thing for, I don't know, if you're learning Old MacDonald Had a Farm, to chat with your kids about what animal is going to come up. So, okay, what are we going to do? We're going to do a sheep next. Okay, do you remember sheeps? How do sheeps go? Ba ba. Yeah, okay, no, not woof woof. Ba ba. Yeah, that's the one. Okay, so let's go. So, Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. This idea of a vamp, you can just stop and play one chord, talk about what's going on, getting the actions going for Incy Wincy or whatever it is that you fancy doing with your kids. If you're going to do a vamp and they're not paying attention, drop the volume right down. So if you, Old MacDonald had a farm. Okay, oh, if you go real quiet, they'll pay attention. Keep the music going, don't stop. Just go really quiet. It's definitely a great way of getting a child's attention. If things are big and moving and they're dancing around or whatever and you go real quiet, they'll be, oh, what's happened there? Why has it gone all quiet there? So that's a good little trick with vamping. I would really recommend that you learn a few songs, even if it's like 3 or 4 songs. The chords are pretty simple, the rhythms are simple, I'm sure you know the songs already. So it's just a little bit about memorizing the chord progression. So looking at like, well, it's 4 strums on C, 2 on F and 2 on G, and that repeats around. Or it might be 4 strums on C, 4 on F, 4 on C, 4 on G, or so. There'll be some sort of pattern for it. So look for the pattern for the song, try and memorize it, practice it a little bit maybe before you start playing it with your kids for the first time. But it's definitely a lot more entertaining if you've got those songs to memory. If you're stuck on the songs, you really have trouble memorizing them, then you might want to check out my songbook. You got to enjoy yourself here. So it shouldn't be a stressful thing. It's fun, and children are an amazing audience. They're not going to notice if you fumble stuff up, if you get the chords wrong, if you keep the song going. So if the rhythm goes weird or the chords fall off, try and keep the song going. Sing along with them and then come back in where you can. Okay? They're very forgiving, but it's got to be fun. You've got to be enjoying yourself and not worry about it if things go wrong. Especially if you're new to the ukulele, there's no pressure. It's a ukulele. If you bring out a guitar, people get a little bit more pressure about, oh, you should be doing the right thing. Ukulele is such a fun instrument anyway. It's a fun sound. You can take it to the beach, you can take it to the barbecue. There's no pressure involved with the ukulele. So make sure that you keep that kind of mindset with it and just enjoy it for what it is. Don't get precious about it. Don't worry if you play the wrong chords or the wrong notes or the rhythm goes weird or what. It really doesn't matter. Your children are going to love the experience of playing music with you, and that's the most important thing. Well, I hope this lesson's been enough to inspire you to get into playing ukulele for your kids. I think it's an amazing thing. I love playing ukulele for my daughter, her singing along, dancing around, and she's actually just started playing ukulele now as well. She could play a C and F, changing between them, still a little bit of a struggle, but she's getting there. She's only 4, so I've got to give her a little break. I really hope you enjoy it. Please let me know in the comments if you got any questions. Love to see videos of you playing these songs. If you do, over on Instagram, my username is JustinGuitar, so give me a tag over there and I'll try and check out your videos if I can. Wishing you lots of fun and adventures with your kids, and I'll see you for plenty more very soon. You'll take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.